gonna need 2 tools. Eventually you'll need the wooden stick, but I promise you you're gonna get tired of this guy. So you're gonna start either with a pen or pencil, it doesn't matter which one. So I have, this is a student sketch that a student did, I did not do this. If I did this, I would suggest, I have circle tracers if you're gonna use circles. Make sure those circles are perfect when you start, because they're not gonna be perfect at the end, so the closer we start out, the better. When you get your sketch done, you're gonna show it to me. You're also gonna upload it into Schoology. I made on the board a little double check. If I were you, I would double check and make sure that my square is the right size, because if it's not the right size, you're gonna get really irritated when I tell you to go back and redo it, because that's not fun. So once you draw your square, just come up here and double check it. I did it with marker, so you can put it underneath the paper. Then you're gonna tape, when I hand you your copper, if you did it in your sketchbook, that's fine, but I suggest you rip that guy out when you're done, and you're gonna tape your copper to the back. With your copper, be super careful because it is sharp on the sides. It's kind of like a razor. Do not go this way. Many times I have had to end up with stitches over cutting I cut all 273 pieces yesterday without cutting myself, and I've never done that before. So don't run your hand against the side. It will cut you. So it just takes a couple pieces of tape. I like to hold it up to the light so I can match my squares. And then I'm gonna set it down. The trick to this is to use a big old bunch of newspaper. This time we're not tearing up the newspapers. We're gonna recycle these, but I need to make my table soft. If I'm trying to push into the copper on a really hard table, nothing's gonna happen. And I promise you, somebody in this class is gonna set this down and trace it. Go before nothing happened. Because you're not on the newspaper. You have to have some kind of padding. If you wanna use your sketchbook, that's great, but you gotta have some kind of padding. The softer, the better. So I'm using a pencil or a pen just so you can see where I've been and where I haven't been. Let's do this pattern. And you really don't have to push all that hard. All you're gonna do is trace the pattern. If you want to draw the lines that you use to divide it, great. If you don't want to, that's fine too. There's no right or wrong about that part. So after you trace the entire thing, when you pick it up, you'll start to see that the pattern has gone through it. At that point, you're gonna take it off of your copper, or of your paper. And at this point, you've turned in your paper, so it doesn't matter if you tear it, that's totally fine. So once you pull this guy off, notice I haven't started with my stick yet. You're gonna loathe that stick by the end of this. So you're not drawing with a stick, you're drawing with a pen or a pencil, because the stick is not sharp and you need some nice sharp lines to go by. I'm gonna reuse this all day, that's why I'm being careful. If you rip your sketch, it doesn't matter because you've already turned it in, so who cares? All right. So after I get this thing off, now I'm gonna use the stick. All these materials, your newspaper and your sticks, are gonna be over at that table, except the copper. You have to get that from me. Because I wanna see your sketch and everything first. All right, so now everything has to be either pushed in or pushed out. What I mean by that is I'm gonna flip it over, and it's kind of like I'm coloring. So I'm pushing pretty hard in between those lines. If you can't see, my suggestion is you come a little bit closer so you can see. Also, we'll put this on Schoology. As I do this, those lovely little lines I just drew tend to kind of go away a little bit. So after I've pushed this side, I have to flip it back over and retrace those lines. The bigger an object is, the more you're able to push in and out. It's kind of like painting because you're gonna have to push the metal more than once. You're gonna have to kind of go over it once, and then you'll be like, yeah, I'm done. And I'll say, hey, I want you to do some more. Because the more volume you get, the better it's gonna look. Like I would say overall, this one could probably get a little bit more, especially in here. So in those bigger areas, you can use the back end of your wooden stick to push even more. If it starts to tear, just stop, it's okay. I promise you there are tears in my examples up here, you just can't see them. So you probably noticed that this one's a little bit different color, right? This one's pretty and shiny. This person they were eating chips while they were working. I'm gonna forbid food in the room right now because it will ruin this project. This is not like a forever, but you can't have grease and stuff on your hands, or when we do the next step, it won't work. So I'm not trying to be mean, I do have a reason. So if you notice, this copper is a little bit different color than this copper. It's a sulfur patina, so when everybody gets finished with this part, we'll have one stinky day where we go outside and we dip them into a chemical that turns the whole thing black. And you scrub it just a little bit and you get that nice patina. If you have oil on your hands, like this one wouldn't patina, this is why I have it, because they had greasy, nasty, disgusting hands, and the grease is on their metal, and the patina won't stick. So, please make sure you have clean hands when you do it. Otherwise, I think that's it. So, you can stop in. Thank you.